really well out there. It was really a short break. I would rather say it was short break that we are again here with you and we have joined you. Uh, it was officially ये चला गया था दोबारा दोबारा से शुरू okay. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. I welcome you again in this online series of lectures. Though it was a short break, officially our management decided because there were some compulsions. So again, it is really we are thankful to our management that they have again started this session. Hope you all are fine there, enthusiastic, energetic, and you have joined us. So the topic that I have brought today, that is in connection with our previous lectures. You might remember that before this we discussed coherence and cohesion in writings, in academic writings. But how to understand them or how to get mastery of these cohesive devices, and the most important thing, that what are the significance and importance of this particular topic, coherence and cohesive devices, especially cohesive devices whenever you write essays or whether you read essays. Even we will be talking about books as well. Cohesive devices in essays as well as books. So, without further ado or without further delay, let me begin our session. And for that particular session, I have brought practical examples for you guys, because most of the time I have observed, and even many of our teachers have observed, that students fail to understand, they fail to write their essays as well as paragraphs in terms of cohesive devices. So, talking about cohesive devices, there are so many cohesive devices that you are familiar with. However, it is really important one to give you certain information about these cohesive devices, how these are important and what kind of significance they have, particularly in writings whenever you talk about essays and books. So let me give you example. I have brought this book. If it is visible to you, you can see it. The title of this book is Education. Okay, the writer is by Mr. Tanveer Khalid. He is indeed a Pakistani writer, revised and updated by Anis Shehzad. You may be, you may start thinking right now that why sir has brought this book with him. So the only purpose of bringing this book is to give you practical examples of these cohesive devices which are used in this book and in essays. And I have brought another book as well, particularly consisting of on different essays. So we will be looking out, we will be finding out the use of these cohesive devices as well as in paragraphs. So the topic of this initial or the first chapter of this book is education and philosophy. You all know that education is simply call it schooling or a learning process, or you may call it a cognitive process, a psychological process of learning and acquiring knowledge or information and things. But what about philosophy? Most of my senior students, those who have already graduated from here or passed their intermediate, they are familiar and that what philosophy is. Philosophy is basically a doctrine, a notion, a thought. Understand? In other words, these are the synonyms of philosophy: doctrine, notion, or you may call it a thought or a school of thought. Now, this is not a school that is, consisting of infrastructure. Rather, it is a school of different opinions and thoughts. A school of thought. So, this topic is one of the foremost topic in this book that I have gone through, education and philosophy. The main purpose of reading or going through this topic or this chapter is only to find out cohesive. The word education has been derived from the Latin words educare or educatum or educare. There are several words. Education and educare mean to train. Of course, it is mean to train to students, to learners, to bring up and nourish and flourish their skills. Okay. Now, this is one paragraph. This is one paragraph, or you may call it one text. The main topic starts from here. The talk that we are discussing here starts right from this sentence. Now, while educare, writer has done this. What writer has done? Writer has used this cohesive device in order to connect his previous thought to the next one. And it is really important, because whenever you just cut out this idea, your ideas will be scattered. Okay? One idea, second idea, third, and the list goes on. In between these ideas, we need these cohesive devices. We must use these cohesive devices. In grammar, you may call them conjunctions, as you are familiar with. So, the writer has used a word while. Educare means to lead out. Now, you can see here that writer started his chapter, writer started his talk or a text beginning from the word education, and he has come up with the idea that educare means to lead out. But in between these two different thoughts and two different paragraphs, he was bound, he was compelled, and it was his compulsion to use this particular device, that is while. You may call it on the other hand. While means on the other hand. Okay, so this was a particular word that writer chose. Okay, and he took out that word in order to connect his thoughts. Moving further, what else or what other devices he has used? So, the former implies that education is something external. Do you know the words external and internal? To be imposed or put in from outside. The latter indicates growth from within. Now he has, in order to connect his thought, he has used another cohesive device in his second thought, because simply paragraphs, essays, or even texts are collection of different paragraphs. Remember this. Okay, there are different paragraphs that may join your thought, and you would get success in order to write your paragraphs as well as text, even essays. So this is a long discussion that he has started. Aristotle defined education as, now at the same time you are getting benefits. It means two fishes in one hand. So at the same time you are understanding these cohesive devices as well as I'm trying my level best to give you different definitions provided by different scholars regarding education and philosophy. Okay, what is the philosophy of education? What is the doctrine of education? What we mean by this term education? You would be, you know, trying to understand this word or this term. So, hence, in order to connect his another idea, he has used again this particular device. You all are familiar. Aristotle defined education as what he says about education, that a process necessary for the creation of sound mind in a sound body. It is really a process that a sound mind and a sound body must have creative ideas. Then, hence, the importance of every subject included in the Greek curriculum was assessed in terms of its capacity to train body, mind, and soul. So, this was a particular definition that writer took from different sources, and he gave references that this was defined by this and this. Suppose if he has given definitions of education and philosophy, at the same time he has quoted, because whenever you take definition of another, you need to quote. Okay, because it is really important. Whenever you quote somebody, this is a kind of official document that you are going to write. Hence the importance of every subject. Okay, fine. Now, what else? Moving further, the definition implies that he has given a complete thought in his book. Okay, so these are to be developed in conformity with the demands of the society. Education is not something static. Do you know statics, economics? Education is far beyond that term or that field. Education is not static. Then what it is? So education is not static, but it is a continuous. Again, he has used this. Sorry for misspelling, but. So he simply contradict with this idea, and in order to contradict in his paragraph or in his text, he has again used this cohesive device in order to connect the previous thought with the next one. As I told you earlier, that in order to maintain your thoughts, in order to maintain the flow of your writing, what you need to connect one idea with the second one. There must be a cycle. Okay, if you don't maintain this sort of connectivity, you won't be able to write good essays and good paragraphs. And how we can connect these ideas? Through the help of, or by the help of, these cohesive devices. Understand? Hope you are getting me. So moving further, but it is a continuous and lifelong process. The next idea is, soon after the birth and thought, throughout his life, a man undergoes varied experiences. Of course, it is reality of human life, and continuously learns one way of behavior or another. The idea is continuous. This is a flow of words or flow of thoughts that writer has defined in his book. He is subjected to varying and changing conditions of life and has to make adjustments to these different situations and circumstances. Here is a full stop. The idea is complete here. Now he begins with another idea with this line: learning through these experiences of life contributes towards his mental and physical maturity. Whenever you learn these things through education, you would become mature. Maturity grows up. You will simply make yourself mature minded, because education is really a kind of thing that develops mentality, approach, and maturity among humans, among learners, among students. Okay, and this is only the difference between or among uh, illiterate and literate people. How we make differences, on what grounds, on what basis we say that he is an educated man and he is uneducated or illiterate? Because the way educated people talk, the way educated people behave, and the way they look like. Okay, looking like is something else, because all human beings are equal. The physique of educated and uneducated people is quite the same, but the only difference lies of education. Okay, education people or education man, whenever he speaks whenever he says something, he thinks once, twice, thrice, that what I have to say, what things I have to discuss here, how to talk with my father, how to talk with my elder brother, and how to behave with my teacher. This is a habit or mentality of educated people and learner. While on the other hand, illiterate people, uneducated people, those who don't have idea that how to behave with others, how to give respect to others, they are out of that box. So moving further, in his next para, in his next text, he has again used two other cohesive devices. That line starts with this: a child learns because somebody teaches him. Of course, a child learns because somebody teaches him. Sometimes he learns because. Now you may see, before this word or without this word, the idea is incomplete. Okay, the idea is really incomplete. Suppose, for instance, for example, or for a while, if I take out that word from that particular line, do you think that there would be a connectivity of ideas? Do you think that there would be a relationship of ideas, that what writer wants to say? Not at all. Why? Because this word is responsible for connecting the first thought to the second one. As I told you earlier, okay, in order to make my idea more clear, let me give you a fundamental example. Many of you are familiar with bicycle or motorbike. So in bicycle or even in a motorbike, there is a chain. Okay, there is a chain that helps your vehicle or bicycle to move on. Suppose this is the chain, and it is connected. Okay, it is connected. That's why your vehicle is moving towards your journey. But sometimes, whenever one digit or one particular part of that chain breaks, then what happens? You stop. Not only you will stop there, but your bicycle stops. It stops functioning. It stops working. Even it is the same case with the motorbike. Why? Because the connectivity that earlier you had in your vehicle, now it has been broken down. Okay? Now, is it possible for a man, is it possible for a child to still maintain that journey? No. Then what we are required? We are required to go to a special one, those who repair this, who simply mend this. Okay, then we would be able to start our cycle or motorbike again. Understand? So, this is the same case in writing as well. Maintaining your different thoughts and ideas is really crucial one, is really important one. No matter you are writing paragraphs at school level, or even if you are writing essays at CSS level, or even in competitive exams. So it will help you out to connect your different thoughts. One idea must be connected with the second one. The second one should be connected with the third one. If there is no connectivity, as I told you moments before, that your ideas would be scattered, that your ideas would be random, and random ideas are useless. Okay? Random speech, random sort of writing, or random sort of paragraphs are useless. Why they are useless? Because of missing of these cohesive devices. If you are talking to your parent, if you are talking to your teacher, and you are not maintaining this cohesive unit of talk, then your teacher would say to you that, "Beta, what you are talking? Are you in your senses? What's wrong with you? I'm not able to understand you." Why? Because the way you are talking, the way you are sharing your thoughts or opinions with your teacher is out of coherence. And this is how this topic has its significance, its importance in every corner. This is not the case, this is not limited with the writing. Not only writing, but reading as well. Okay? And how to get mastery of this? There are only two methods and techniques that I'm going to share with you guys. Okay? Which are these techniques that will help you in order to maintain coherence and cohesion in your essays, paragraphs, even in other forms of writings? These two techniques are simply reading and then writing, because this is not a kind of a simple thing that you may acquire, somebody may give you in gift. Understand? Rather, we have to learn them, we have to acquire them. You are part of proper schooling, you all are enrolled in a proper learning. Understand? So these two things are going to help you to understand as well as utilize and to implement these cohesive devices in your reading as well as in your writing. How? The more you read, number one thing is how much time you are giving to your reading. Understand? I would suggest you that please avail your time. Use your time in reading different books, different articles. There are a number of journals available. There are a number of articles available, online articles. It is really an easy access that we can avail. Suppose we all are sitting at our homes and we can read newspapers. No doubt you are reading Sindhi newspapers. These can help you to understand the writing pattern of different writers. There are different writers who are really outstanding in Sindhi writing or in Sindhi articles. So read. Understand? Reading will make you perfect, because before or without reading, without understanding things, books, articles, journals, research papers, you won't be able to write even a single sentence. And this is really a great dilemma of our society. unfortunately our students are not ready to read something. Okay,